Legend of Total War here, and today we've got a Rating Your Doomstack video playing as the Drakenhof Conclave, where we've kind of got sort of a bug that's working its wonder on this particular Doomstack. So we've got a Crypt Horror Doomstack, and it has 55% physical resistance. And this is just a generic Strigoi Ghoulkin, not one of the Bloodline Lords. So I'm going to read out the email, get a little bit of context to how he managed to do this, because he didn't actually fully explain it, so I had to figure it out a little bit, and then explain how it actually could be better. So he says, "Hey Legend, it's not a perfect Doomstack, but it's a rather cheap and packs quite a punch. See if you can figure out how I achieve this kind of Crypt Horror Doomstack with physical resistance at 55%. It's completely legit and vanilla, of course, although I only used to manage to get 45% in my previous Vampire Accounts campaign, but a recent change has brought back an old feature. I also suspect that if I manage to confederate some endgame vampire accounts with specific lords from the Vampiric Ascension scenario, I might get the physical resistance even higher. But so far in my previous playthroughs, I've had no luck with that." Okay, so let's go through and assess where is this physical resistance coming from. So let's look at the lord first. Just looking down at his skills down here, we can, under battle effects, we can see that he is providing two sets of 10%, so 20% physical resistance. One is from his trait, Ghoul Whisperer, so he gets 10% physical resistance for Crypt Ghouls and Horrors. And then the other one is from Deadly Power, which is, of course, a generic skill. Any lord can get that. And that's providing physical resistance as long as they are rank 7 and above. So that accounts for 20% of the physical resistance. 5% physical resistance will be coming from the Nagashasar building. So physical resistance plus 5%, all armies. And the next load of physical resistance is something that is repeatable. Now, it's easy to get it done 3 times, but beyond that, it gets a little bit more complicated. And that's using Bloodline Strigoi Ghoul Kings. So we firstly need to find one. Is this... Yep, the Strigoi Bloodline, right. And it comes down to this here, the Grotesque Court. So leadership plus 6 for Crypt Ghouls and Crypt Horrors. Physical resistance plus 10 for Crypt Ghouls and Crypt Horrors. But notice how it doesn't have a tag that says Lord's Army. It doesn't say faction-wide, but it is actually applying faction-wide. So if we look down over here, how it says physical resistance for those units, but this one here just says physical resistance plus 10 for Crypt Ghouls, but not specifically for the Lord's Army. Now he happens to have 3 of these Strigoi Bloodline Lords, so that's where the extra 30% is coming from. Now you can easily get 3 of these Strigoi just because of the Blood Kisses. Now getting more than that requires the AI vampire accounts to hire them, and this is where this player has sort of not really understood exactly how best to go about it. He's saying that you need to get the Vampiric Ascension, the endgame crisis. No, you don't. So in this particular campaign, he has confederated Vlad von Carstein, so can't revive Vlad and get any more from him, but the other vampires are still alive. So, for example, Heinrich Kemmler. The AI vampire account factions absolutely do recruit Bloodline Lords. As you can see here, you've got Necrarch Bloodline. Now, they're not going to recruit Lords that they don't need, essentially. So what you need to do in order to get them to just recruit tons of Bloodline Lords is to actually go to war with them and constantly bloody kill their lords. Because Bloodline Lords are immortal, if you can wound as many of them as possible, they'll replace them with new Bloodline Lords when they can. And there's a chance that some of those will be Strigois. So let's just say, hypothetically, they, over the course of you smashing the shit out of Heinrich Kemmler, he manages to recruit 2 Strigoi Bloodline Lords. Then you vassalize him to get out of the war, wait for relations to normalize, cancel the vassalization when like his relations to you are, let's just say, like 200%, and then you should be able to confederate him, and you'll get those Strigoi Bloodline Lords, bringing you to another 20% physical resistance for these Strigois. And you can do that with each of the legendary lords. In fact, you can do it with the minor ones as well. You can do it with Musalon. So if any of the other vampire account minor factions have been wiped out, and there's not that many of them, but some examples of them is like the Silver Host at Lamia. You can revive them. The Lamian Sisterhood over here. I don't think you can confederate Templehof. I'm not entirely sure. You used to not be able to do that in Warhammer 2. They may have changed that though. And then I think there's some various ones in Nehekara but I can't remember where oh, there's also that one in that Cathay, like the Jade Vampire one, whatever it is, I can't remember. But so there's a fair few that you could deal with, and all of them should recruit Bloodline Lords eventually. The later you do it in the campaign, the better. So at this stage here, they should have Bloodline Lords available to recruit. Now we're going to test this out. So having a look at the battle difficulty, it's all on maximum. Going to test it out against greenskins. Now this army would be really bad to use against demons, so it's never going to get a 10 out of 10 rating because it's just universally not going to be able to beat everything. But greenskins are notorious for just not having magical attacks. So okay, that's one we got to watch out for to begin. But pretty much every other unit of theirs, they got free upkeep, has no magical attacks, so we don't need to worry about that too much. Let's jump in and see how it performs. So he's got a necromancer with the corpse cart mount, which is obviously good for this army because that way you get extra regeneration, extra combat stats, and then of course having a spellcaster in them. But if we blob up too much, this one here is going to be a bit of a problem for us. So one thing that we could do is just eliminate that one before we go into a big blob, because once we're in a big blob, I really don't think even their archers are going to do anything to us, because then being in a blob is really good against melee forces, but bad if you're getting shot. I'm not too concerned about their magic. So we're going to start off somewhat blob there, and send the Strigoi Ghoul King to maybe just Spirit Leech to begin a little bit. Could also just waste its ammo. It's only got 10. Actually, if I Spirit Leech them, they'll come to me, won't they? Now, these guys here don't fight very well in the forest, but they're going to be most vulnerable to missile units, so going in the forest will protect them from that. So the other things he's got going on, spell resistance. Some of them have flame resistance and some of them don't. Oh wait, he's got a Balefire card, not an Unholy Lodestone. My mistake. Actually, that makes sense because that mitigates the fire weakness completely from regeneration. Not that there's too much flaming attacks in this army here. But if you were going up against Chaos Dwarves or something else that's got flaming attacks, good. Yeah, the Balefire card would be a good idea. In fact, for this army here, we really should have put it on the Unholy Lodestone. There's really no need for the fire resistance. Alright, so trying to Spirit Leech to begin would probably take a very long time. But it's also got magic attacks in melee, so I don't imagine we're going to need a ton of magic in this battle. And, like I said, if we do some magic attacks on them, then they'll start marching towards us. And because this one here is so slow, the battle might be over before they even get to us. As in this one here. This is such a slow bastard. Could also possibly land and fight against it, maybe. So this here is good against a single unit, not a single entity. But since the Biggin is the biggest threat, it's better than nothing. Okay, let's one of these guys out in the open here. So this one here wasn't shooting at us, but yeah, if that shoots into our forces over there, we're in big trouble. Okay, I might go stand over to here, because you don't have to necessarily be in the forest in order to block the shots. Don't imagine this is going to do very much. Basically nothing. Alright, so this... hang on. Shouldn't land near these mangler squigs, they won't let me get back up. As long as there's nothing too fast around here, we can chomp at it a bit. Yeah, that's doing some good damage. Doesn't have very high melee attack. Sorry, melee defense. So it's a very high melee attack. We don't need to use this to boost our melee attack any further. We should be able to hit pretty much every single time without it. Okay, I don't really want to fight the Mangler Squigs. Let's see if we can get away from them. Okay, honestly, he was doing pretty well. Actually, the Mangler Squigs, they're kind of doing more damage to us than Biggin was. Mangler Squigs are such a pain in the ass. But he's handling that. We should also use summons on these artillery. There's two pieces, Doom Divers and the Goblin Rock Lobbers. They're not going to do tons of damage to the Crypt Horrors, but they would do more than everything else just about. Alright, you know what, I'm not going to get into the forest. I just need to get rid of the Biggin. Once I've done that, then I can charge him in. It's the only thing that we're extremely vulnerable to. But I imagine nothing else here is going to cause us any problems. So bounce power's not in our favour. But it tends not to really rank resistances all that highly. So just a bit of work at the beginning just to clear out dangerous units. Even the giant I'm not too concerned about because it's physical attacks. Don't care about that, just get rid of the Biggin. Okay. Spirit Leech will finish the job here. Alright, with that done, let's charge on in. Good, that's the only unit we have to be worried about, I think. But we'll see. Even this one here doesn't have magical attacks, but it does have spells. Get that big Crypt Horror charge blob right into them there. So the reason why you want to go into a blob with this sort of thing, it just helps to protect the Necromancer and also make sure that the Necromancer provides their ability on all of them. Rather than just like a handful of them. But you totally could spread them out.
So much death.
Plus this guy's abilities here. The Staff of Damnation already got pretty good melee attack. And then obviously the Undeath Resurgent. So these ones here, they've got two forms of regen. They've got Regeneration and they've got the Hunger. And if we had an Unholy Lodestone, you'd get a bit of a boost from that as well. So the Necromancer's also got Wind of Death. So these ones here. They're doing a bit of damage. I mean, 55% physical resistance is not a huge amount. I mean, it's reducing the damage output of them by half. But if you can get it to 90%, I mean, that's a hell of a lot more than what it is right now. Okay, so they're undoing 1/10 the damage. So the Black Orcs here are doing nothing against them. But yeah, the archers are actually doing a fair bit. Alright, what I'm going to do is summon a zombie unit. Hopefully it'll draw some of their missile attack. Because yeah, we're regenerating really quickly, but we'll just eventually run out of regen. they've got quite a few missile units. If they're using up all their ammo to and not being attacked by us. Oh, another thing we could do if this isn't going to work is just use Wind of Death.
Death to all!
Cool, that gets rid of them. And these Black Orcs here. Yeah. Black Orcs are doing nothing to us. Kind of weird they're spreading out like this. Oh yeah, I never went and dropped summons on them, did I? Alright, I should probably go do that. But so far, yeah, they're doing pretty well here. And we've got plenty of Winds of Magic, so using Wind of Death to get rid of the archers, I think, is acceptable. I've only got one more summon on this guy here, so I think on the... let's see. Probably the Doomdiver Catapult will be best to get rid of.
Everywhere is death.
See if we can time it just as they're coming through here. I'm gonna get some more zombie summons.
Come to me.
Creature of the grave.
Okay, I might not even need to use a summon there. Just go into melee with it for a moment, and that should be enough.
Necromancer. Winds of death.
Should have gone the other way, but this still looks good. Wasn't perfect though.
It's time.
So yeah, this guy here, try to put him in the middle of the forces there. Okay, they are neutralized. Good. Next up, Goblin Bolt Throwers.
Necromancer.
Right, so the giant. Okay, it's getting some kills, but that could be on the zombies because it doesn't look like any of our guys have died yet. But that being said, if any of them get killed, well, they're technically all dead. They can come back.
Life is a phase.
Okay, good. That's been neutralized. Yeah, that one's getting a fair bit of damage. I need to get in there and stop it.
No.
Okay, they're actually targeting the Necromancer. So if you give this guy loads of missile resistance, which this guy is not too bad with it, you could use him to draw out the missile attacks. Good. They're holding up pretty well. Curse of the Bad Moon will probably weaken us a bit. Yeah, with the reduced melee defense, we're taking damage a bit faster. Yeah, they're racking up kills pretty quickly there. Not kills, damage. And they don't have that many more missile units left. And we've yet to suffer a single casualty. Again, this is one of the reasons why blobbing works fairly well. Spreading out the damage across all of them. Even though we're taking a lot of damage, it's being spread out across so many units that individually each unit isn't taking that much damage. And in regard to regeneration, the best thing for that is to make sure that everybody is only just slightly damaged. Okay, we're starting to take some damage though.
With haste.
I think we should get rid of, because yeah, we're completely surrounded. Which, that's bad for them, not me. I'll suffer a casualty in a moment. Need to get this guy back over here, pop down Undeath Resurgent. Good, that's been neutralized. Still haven't suffered a casualty yet.
Destroy them. Time to rise.
They're obstructed. This one sort of broke out a little bit, so it's probably not getting the vigor mortis. I need to try to push in on that giant there. Just to get them in a tighter formation, because yeah, these ones here, if they're not getting, yeah, they weren't getting the vigor mortis. Oh yeah, they also get the Master of Undeath. Sorry, Master of the Dead. That's also providing some regen. Alright, there we go. That'll help keep them in the fight a bit more, and this will make them kill a bit faster.
The living will join us.
We can also use Van Hal's Dance Macabre, but we don't have very high regen rate. Oh, they're using their passives. Oh, this one here. Well, it's physical attack, and it is doing some damage to us, but we're okay. Oh, actually, that did a lot of damage for just one shot. But I can't realistically do much about that right now. 1,000 damage pop. Probably because it's just hitting so many units when it actually lands. Still lets us suffer a casualty, but I'd be very surprised if we walk out of this without a single casualty. And that being said, I'll just regenerate.
Necromancer.
It's reaching their max regen cap though. I'm gonna try to put them more into the center, keep them a bit more protected. Not that big of a deal if we suffer one casualty though, especially considering it gave us an auto result defeat. At least this one here only has a few more shots in. It actually did get a kill. Right, let's see it.
Their time has come.
Still got a lot of force to bring in. Unless they got a kill and then I just revived it straight away with Curse of the Undeath. That seems unlikely.
Everywhere is death.
Could also use Soul Blight to reduce their damage output. But again, we don't really need to. The physical resistance and overall combat stats is holding out just fine. So this one here. Wow, I've got 38,000 damage done on us. I wonder if they did that just with Curse of the Bad Moves. It doesn't look like they did that much damage, because, yeah, they spread that damage out across our entire army, and we just healed it as they were doing it. Unless they were dishing out damage to the zombies, I guess that's entirely possible.
Wait.
So that one's immortal, so trying to kill that one. Kill it in this battle or the next one doesn't really make any difference. But it'd be better if we killed it now. So let's pop down the Spirit Leech. It's going to run off, but that'll ensure that it doesn't get away. Okay, that's good. And there's the army losses before they've even brought in their reinforcements. And I believe that's no casualties for us. And I didn't have to use a single invocation of Nehek. Yeah, that actually performed better than I thought it would. I thought we'd take some casualties in the battle, but we didn't take any. It was close. Obviously, it took out the one unit that was, I think, the biggest threat to us. A single one of those shots would have easily killed a Crypt Horror. But, you know, we were taking shots from those Arachnarok flingers right in the face into a massive blob. And while it did do a lot of damage, didn't get any kills. It said it got one. I think it was a zombie unit. I don't think it needs to save our back. It wasn't a disaster or anything. So yeah, that's actually really bloody strong. So yeah, getting it to 55% in your own campaigns would not take that much effort. I guess 50% would be quite easier because who knows how long it will take you to get to Nagashazar. Getting 3 of these is usually quicker unless, of course, you prioritize getting to Nagashazar and getting it to tier 5. And again, that one's only 5%. But yeah, getting the other Strigoi Ghoul King Bloodline Lords. So to get this maxed out, you would need 4 more, essentially. So if you got, say, 2 from Helmwind Gorst and 2 from Heinrich Kemmler, done. Then you've got 95% physical resistance. So that helping you out just a little bit in case they've got anything that's possibly reducing physical resistance. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if any of you guys managed to pull off a 90 plus physical resistance Strigoi Ghoul King doomstack. Cryptoro doomstack. But I imagine that. Okay, it's basically not this one. It's basically a countdown now until. How long do you guys think it'll take Creative Assembly to just like do a hotfix? They did say that there was no planned patches for the game until the DLC comes out, which I don't know, month. But all they have to do here is just put the tag Lord's Army. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people be like, no, Legend, you made the video, now they're definitely going to patch it. They would have otherwise left it in for years because they always forget this shit. Well, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. If you just don't make a big... Like, here's what you want to do. If you want to keep this in the game, just don't go and post this on the Reddit. Don't highlight it on the forums because chances are they're not watching every single one of my videos. They're probably only monitoring the ones where I'm bad-mouthing them, and I'm not really doing that much of that these days. So it'll probably go under the radar. If you don't go on the forum and like highlight it, it probably won't get patched. If that is what you want to do and keep it, because at the same time the AI could do it as well, but they're not going to prioritize that too much because yeah, they don't really get that many. They don't try to get 3 Strigoi Bloodline Lords. And that being said, their skill placement. You know, they might even get to level 50 and not even put a skill into that. You just never know. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.